Well, hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our July monthly update. We're in the week right ahead of July 4th, so I hope at this point I'll wish everybody a safe and happy July 4th holiday. It is hurricane season, and we all have been reminded of that this week with Hurricane Arthur that is pushing up our coast. And again, we've been monitoring that here locally and talking with our county counterparts, trying to make sure we're prepared for whatever might occur here. And I think with Arthur, at least at this time, it doesn't appear it will have more than a rain and some light wind impact us. But just want to let you know that your city staff and I'm sure county as well are prepared to respond if there's an emergency here for the community. And again, more awareness and more discussion as we have items going forward related to hurricanes. Through the July 4th holiday and the hurricane, please be safe and do things that make sense and look after one another. I want to mention, as always, our 311, or I say as always, as I mentioned before, our 311gis.com. It's a software program out there for you to report items to us, and you can do that day or night. You can call us or not call us, but the 311GIS is really meant to be used through your computer, your cell phone, or your tablet. You can go to that website, register as a user, and then you can see service orders that are out there. And they're for non-emergency items, such as a pothole, or a sidewalk that's got bad cracks, or tree limbs that are blocking your sight distance, or anything you see that's non-emergency. It doesn't have to have an immediate response, but that we could respond to in a day or two. So just another application for you. It's been popular with some, but just want to remind you that that is out there. As always, you can call us, but the 311GIS is really out there for those that want to see what's going on. You'll get email responses to your request when it's received and when we've completed it and as we go along with the work. So it's just something for those that want to keep up. In terms of some recent news in the city and to let you know what's coming, we did order 6 police cars and our patrol vehicles in our last year's budget. Our year just ended June 30th. We ordered them early in the year. It took about 10 months for them to come in. They were received in June. They're going to be striped, and we're taking them in early July, taking them down so they'll have the police decals and equipment put on. And those vehicles ought to be in place early fall, September, October timeframe. With that said, we had budgeted another 6 vehicles in our new budget year, which began July 1st, 5 of which are paid through our general fund sources, so we have money on hand to pay for that, 1 through a grant that we're still waiting final approval on. But we did get a notification from Chevrolet that their 5 vehicles are available if we'd like to order those, that will be the same vehicles that we just received in June. So we have placed that order, and again, those vehicles ought to be here in the next 4 to 8 weeks. They would then be striped and put on the road very soon. So by late fall, we ought to have 10 to 11 new police vehicles on our streets, replacing some of our aging fleet. And we really are moving out still some 98 and 99 model vehicles, some that have been in service well beyond what you would expect out of a patrol vehicle. So that ought to help improve the appearance of our fleet and give our officers I don't want to say safer vehicles. I would tell you all our vehicles are safe, but maybe a more reliable vehicle, and certainly in some cases a vehicle that looks much more like our officers and represent the professionalism of our police department. So we're excited to have those vehicles coming in a timely manner. Property, I don't think I've talked specifically about city's property that we're listing for sale. We have a lot of various lots that are out there in terms of residential neighborhoods and things of that nature. They're always sort of available for sale if somebody would like to purchase. But some of the larger areas are ones that would be of more value that we've had some interest expressed in, or at least community interest in following us. The former Arts Council site at Spence and Ash, we had a building there. We were looking at it for an Air Force Museum. We decided not to pursue the Air Force Museum. We tore the building down. We have an offer on that site that the City Council has accepted. The offerer, or the one intending to purchase that property, was working through their due diligence of getting all their plan approvals done. That should be approved at our City Council meeting coming up next week or early July, meaning we should close on that property and actually receive funds and transfer title to that property by July 11th. So we're excited to have that one coming to a close. We also had received an offer, and the council has accepted the offer, on the gas station that is adjacent to and actually shares a wall with the Paramount Theater. A nice business idea for that corner, and we're excited to have that coming, and we should close on that property in early fall. So we're excited to have that offer accepted by council. The developer's working through their due diligence of getting all their approvals in place before they close on that property, but that's coming sooner than later, we hope. We've also have the Gold's Inn property, or the former Gold's Inn property, there at US 70 and I-795. It's a large vacant tract where the city tore down the old hotel a year or more ago. tax value of that property, $650,000. It ought to be a good location for development. We have had some inquiries of that property, and so I'm hopeful that those inquiries will lead to an offer in the coming weeks. And again, so if we receive that offer or an offer, we will share those with our city council, and I'm sure you'd hear more about that. But again, that ought to be another good site for development. And then the final property I think I'd mention for today is the 18 acres that the city owns on Wayne Memorial Drive, just north of the community college. Again, that 18 acres fronts along Wayne Memorial from almost the northern driveway of the community college over to New Hope Road. It is property that was bought with the idea, with tourism money or hotel tax money, with the idea of creating a civic center. We've decided at this point that between the city and the county, that's just not one of our priorities to build a civic center as much as we would like to have one in the community. And so we do have that property listed for sale, and money from the sale of that property, and it's valued at right at $4 million in terms of appraised value, money on the sale of that property would go to funding our multi-sports complex and building this complex off of Oak Forest Road and in the partnership with Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. So we do have some motivation to sell the property, but we want to sell it what's a fair return in terms of investment there and returning money to the tourism and hotel motel tax fund as it should. So again, those properties are out there, and anyone that has an interest in those, we would be happy to discuss those with you or give you whatever information that we have. Appearances, I've probably shared before that one of the council's 4 top goals is appearances for Goldsboro and trying to improve the appearance of Goldsboro. And again, we're looking at signs throughout the community, we're looking at sidewalks, we're talking about tearing down houses, we're talking about street resurfacing, we're talking about things that when they're new do make the community or the neighborhood look better. And with that said, I would encourage all property owners to do what you can to make your property look the best it can. You know, summertime's a great time. There are a lot of people out walking, riding, it's daylight a lot longer, things are growing. It really is a pretty time of the year, until you have a neighbor that won't cut their grass or that doesn't take care of their property. And so I would just encourage everyone in Goldsboro to do what they can to improve their property, to maintain it to the best of their ability. Where you have problems, please don't hesitate to either report them through our 311 GIS or call us, and I'll give you a number in a few minutes. Again, if you can assist your neighbor, those are good things too, but make sure you have their permission before you get working on their yards. But I would just encourage all of us, from the city and our residents here to business owners, to work to make the community look the best it can, because it really does have an impact to those that are traveling through or visiting Goldsboro. One of the things we were doing along appearance lines, our Public Works Department, was removing the controlled access fencing along US 70. Department of Transportation is allowing us to do that. We have removed most of the fencing from Spence Avenue westward back towards beyond Wayne Memorial and onto Williams Street. So most of that fencing has been removed. We're now working in the areas between Spence and Berkeley, and specifically this week we've been working on the area really from where the Outback is located and Ruby Tuesdays down along to Sam. So that corridor is where we remove fence this week. Still have some of the poles there, but I can envision now what it's going to look like without the fence, and I think it really will be a continued improvement in terms of appearances to those of us that see it every day, as well as those visitors that are passing through our community. So I continue to be excited about that project in terms of improving appearances. Our Tiger 5 grant, the grant in which we were funded last year and received $10 million from the federal government. We've awarded contracts, again, totaling about $15 million. We have a $10 million federal grant through this Tiger program. We have $4 million in local funds, of which we're borrowing, and we have about another $1 million in federal funds for transportation. So $15 million in total that are getting ready to go to work, and those contracts have been awarded. We're in the midst of signing the contracts and working out the final particulars with the contractor in terms of the legal side of it. But you should start seeing some activity in August timeframe. We'll hope to have a groundbreaking ceremony and kick that off, but August is when you ought to expect to see some activity downtown. And again, Center Street, the next 3 blocks, awarded the TA11, a 15-month contract, so it should be very close to complete by this time next summer. Walnut Street and the Gateway Transfer Center, both of those projects awarded to Daniels and Daniel Construction. So we're delighted to have local contractors working on these projects. They were the low bid as we went through the process. They're both great firms, and we're excited to have them working. But again, a lot of activity and $15 million worth of construction monies going into downtown in the next 15 months. So we're excited to have that coming on, and thankful to those funding sources and all of those partners that helped us receive those funds. A part of that was us getting our financing plan approved through the Local Government Commission, which really is a good oversight and is required their approval before the cities can borrow money, at least of this magnitude. Our finance director and myself traveled to Raleigh this week and were there to answer a few questions of the executive committee, but they did approve our financing. And again, we're excited to be moving forward with that, so we'll be closing on that financing very soon with very attractive interest rates over a 15 or 20 year term. But again, money that we've shared with the council in terms of how we expect it to pay our local match. So again, those projects moving forward very well. Street resurfacing, we were set to open bids this week. We have to have 3 bids with this size project. We received 2 bids, which is not unusual. So we'll be opening bids mid-July for our street resurfacing program. Again, about $575,000. We've shared maps with our council and had that discussion before. But if you have questions on what streets are on those lists, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would be happy to share that with you. But again, we'll be talking about that more as we award those contracts either in late July or early August. So again, I think you'll see that activity moving through the community, at least to the tune of about $575,000 worth of street resurfacing. Haven't talked about W.A. Foster Center in quite a long time. The bond referendum had that was part of that. We'd always talked about the projects being either in the next 5 years or over the next 20 years. W.A. Foster being the #1 priority through all of that. And W.A. Foster continued. Our plan was to use community development funds and general fund monies in terms of borrowing the $4 to $6 million to build W.A. Foster and then paying that back with community development funding first and then the general fund later. And so we are moving forward with that project. We do have a significant balance of community development funding that will carry the debt service on that project for a number of years. And then as debt service is paid off on the general fund side, when it has to move there, the general fund will be able to support that. We would not increase our debt service because of W.A. Foster. So that project moving forward, we had solicited, I guess, requests for qualifications from design build firms, something that was changed in our legislature to give cities that authority a year ago. This will be our first design build project. So we've received over 7 proposals back. I think we received 7 proposals. We will evaluate those, probably interview 3 or 4 of those design build contractors, and hope to make an award this fall, so that project will be moving forward as well. A couple things on Wayne Memorial Drive that you'll see. One, you should have been seeing sidewalk installation for Boyle Avenue almost to US 70. It doesn't quite get all the way just due to funding limitations. It is a partnership with NCDOT, but that sidewalk, more than 2/3 of it is installed as we speak and a little bit left, but it will move it all the way. There'd be sidewalk from Royal Avenue on the east side of Wayne Memorial all the way up almost to US 70. So we're excited to have that coming. And then the Department of Transportation, and I think I've mentioned this before, we were talking about installing a median really to help safety and improve traffic flow along Wayne Memorial from US 70 going northward to Country Day Road. And areas you'd be able to cross Wayne Memorial, make a U-turn or turn left, would be the existing stoplights. So while that's a little more inconvenience sometimes a day in terms of being able to make a left turn today, and in the future you will not be able to turn left directly into a driveway. You'll have to go up to a stoplight and either make a U-turn or turn left. It will make it safer, it will move more traffic, and as that area and that corridor continues to grow and expand out to the 70 bypass that's under construction, the median I think will be more and more appreciated by those that use Wayne Memorial on a daily basis. So that construction, 100% funded with DOT, was a request of the City Council. That project should be underway. We keep saying July-August timeframe, but it should be underway in the July-August timeframe. And finally, in closing, I want to talk about our city website. Again, it doesn't replace the seal. We've developed this working with members of the community, and just want to share for those that hadn't seen it before, but this slogan, Goldsboro, be more, do more, see more. And again, we intend to use that in a lot of areas, but I just want to share that with you and let you see that it is real. You'll see it on our vehicles. You'll see it probably in the future on our water tanks. You'll see it in emails from the city. And my hope is really as we start promoting it a little more and finally have it developed, that the business community and residents will embrace it and want to use it and find a way to use it within your activities and promoting your business and whatever you're doing in Goldsboro. It really is meant to be a community logo, not a city government logo. And so if you have any questions on that or want to help or thoughts on how we'd work through that, please don't hesitate to contact my office and we'll be happy to talk with you at least what our thoughts and ideas were and try to help you through that. But council did approve this logo, and so you will see it. Again, it doesn't replace the city seal. There is a place for the seal. The only place I will tell you it's going to replace the seal with certainty is on our vehicles. We think this is a much brighter and more modern looking, and we'll tell people as you're riding up and down the road where we're from. When we're in community, you'll know it's us. When we're out of the community, you'll know it's us. And again, I hope it's something we all can be proud of. So excited about the coming, pushing out into the community of our new logo. Final thing I would just encourage you, there seems to be a lot of activities in the community. For those that want to know, that I'm always asked what's going on, there seems to be plenty if you look. Between the chamber, between the city's website, you can follow us on Facebook. I know our Downtown Development Corporation has a website with activities, the Paramount Theater, Parks and Rec, but you can find all of those through the city's website or by following us on Facebook in terms of what's going on, what's current, what can I do, and how would I get there. There is something to do if you want to look for it, and again, I hope you'll get active this summer because that's important for all of us as well. So with that, I would wish you a safe and fun summer. Do look after one another, enjoy the weather. Call us if we can be of help or service, whether it's through our Citizen Request tab on the website where you email us, whether it's a 311-GIS or whether it's a phone call to my office, 919-580-4330. Again, 919-580-4330. Whatever we can do to help you, we're here to serve, and we enjoy that. So have a great summer, and we'll see you next month.